Okay, guys, so we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly referee today. Because today we're carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing Mongoose Publishing's Traveler 2nd Edition. And we are using that to play through their module, Reach Adventure 5, the Borderland Run. So if you are joining us for the first time, this will contain spoilers for the session, or rather for that module. But this is session 28 of that, so if you have not queued into that, we'll have some spoilers. You may be a little late for that anyway. Let me introduce you to the stars of today's session. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today. First up, we've got David.
Hi everyone, I'm David. I'll be playing Dr. Ilyas Abdel, a brilliant physician and co-owner of the Rift Wanderer, and maybe Spy Master.
Yeah, see, starting to admit it now. Next up is Carl.
Hello, I'm Carl, and I'm playing Anchor Gavel, who is an Imperial-raised ex-Navy Varger.
Very nice. And last but certainly not least is Graham.
Hi, I'm Graham. I'm playing Dane Loverick, who was drafted originally into the Marines, but he's now a star accountant.
Very nice. Yes. Bookkeeper to the stars, kind of literally here. So great. So this is, guys, we are, let's see here, picking up. Today's session will be starting back on the planet of Sync. But what happened last time? I'll bring us over to Sync once I find it. There it is.
We said goodbye to Tilatoris people on the world, and to Ultima One, who had offered to stay behind as a sort of precautionary extra safety measure, and we had a bit of a debate about whether that's a good idea or a terrible idea, or how we felt about that and how when the Aslan might feel about it, but we ended up deciding that it's probably better if he stays behind. And we were able to sort of bring that across to the Aslan in a way that did not offend them. So we said farewell, but we got a proper farewell. There was like a procession, robes and everything, just to show that the Aslan weren't afraid. And then we headed to Sync to meet up with one of his closest advisors slash uncles. I'm not sure if it's actually an uncle or Efiohoi Ketea.
Koalea. Firehoy Koalea. Name just rolls off the tongue if you've got an Aslan's tongue. So,
who's one of the main advisors and sort of information broker, spy master for his clan, and who he suspects is the one who betrayed him.
Yes.
And led to this whole situation. So we went there to hopefully retrieve some information to prove that he was betrayed. And we came up with the idea that Dane would accompany Tilatoral to essentially go, hey, I'm here to visit. Can we get a tour? And while they went out on the tour, the Resovans broke into the house and I think successfully retrieved at least some information, although we haven't had a chance yet to look at it, so we can't be certain.
It was a really impressive bit of larceny on the part of the travelers as well, because you guys, I think, not only did you have an event-free trip through during your jump, you also had an event-free trip to Sync, and seemingly this plan has gone off without a hitch. Avoided some Aslan who had been left behind. You managed to secure the data, avoided or cleared the programming, at least of the one robot that did see you. And I think it was Dane who was escorting Tilatoral around with the advisor as well to view, kind of the what there is to see on Sync, which is to say not much. So it'll be a relatively short trip. Anything else?
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I will be trying to make it for as long as possible. So I'll be asking lots of questions of detail that probably isn't necessary, just to try and extend that as long as I can.
My dad does a really fun thing where if we do tours of stuff together, like it's not often because we live in different cities or whatnot, but when we do tours, my dad will ask questions of tour guides and whatnot, but it's really prefaced in a very long story before that. So it makes the tour last a lot longer. You're really learning more about Bruce Madison than you are about whatever it is we're fucking touring. So.
Yeah.
You can adopt the Bruce Madison. It's Father's Day today in Canada at the time of recording, so that is
well,
my that is my story for my dad.
I think everywhere. Well, I don't know. Is Mother's Day different, but Father's Day is the same?
Could be.
Mother's Day is different because I remember having a panicked phone call when I lived in Dundee with my mom, and she's like, "Well, it's very nice, Kevin, but it's not Mother's Day here today." So it is in May, though, isn't it, for Mother's Day in the UK?
I'll have to look.
I guess no one's a mother here, so. All right. Then the anything else we missed?
That's the main things.
We got derailed by Father's Day discussions. Then I think that brings us to the present. So, with Anchor and Alonso making their escape, because I think you guys had landed about 10 kilometers outside of Sync successfully. It was Dane and Dr. Ilias, were you? Oh yeah, you were the lookout, weren't you?
Yes, I was outside the house with the neural activity scanner.
Right. That's where you were able to coordinate and get away from that. Oh, before I forget too, why doesn't everyone give us a D6 roll and let's see how much luck we're playing with today. Ooh.
7.
Okay, 7 luck today. Then, what do Dr. Ilias and Anchor wish to do now that you have successfully exfiltrated with the information or the data that you required?
Yes, we should return to the ship, Anchor.
Yeah, I think we're gonna head
Just
back.
get out of Dodge.
Yep.
Okay. Dan, why do... Oh... Yeah, I think here would be no problem. I was going to say, I was thinking of a survival check, but I don't think that's necessary because you guys will have a transponder to get back to your ship, I imagine. Not getting lost on the way to the low port here, that's one thing because you haven't been here before, but getting back to the ship is a matter of,
moving, traveling,
Yeah. So the three of you, but I guess doing so without drawing attention, though, that is something worthy of a dice roll here. So let's see. This will set the difficulty for any potential surveillance here. So I think it's just stealth, isn't it, in this game? It's called, stealth.
Yeah.
Avoiding detection is stealth and dexterity. So why don't someone can take the lead there and someone can assist for a boon. Who would like to do that?
Anchor, has your military training included stealth approaches?
I have like a stealth 0 now.
That's more than I do, so I will happily follow your lead.
Not a lot of stealth required in the medical research field, I guess.
Or sitting in a pilot seat. I mean,
yeah. All right, so then Anchor, why don't you give us a stealth check with a boon, please?
Okay. So let's put that boon thing first.
Okay.
See if it works.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, 9.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You satisfied with that?
Let's make it an even 10
With the point of luck, you got it.
point
Okay.
of luck.
And roll a surreptitious thing here. Okay. So, we see you guys with your, whatever you're wearing your like trench coats and whatnot, aren't you? Your armor?
Yeah, I think we did wear our like this not the back suit type, but the like cloth and a trench coat. I guess the trench coat's still kind of conspicuous, but
I saw you guys comment about not bringing. I think you didn't bring the Gauss rifles along.
No.
But so you're able to exfiltrate and make your way out across this, very green but rugged landscape to make your way back towards the Rift Wanderer. So let's cut to Dane and Tilatoril on your trip. So, Dane, you may recall last time that you made a conspicuous showing of your monkey knives when you were showing up as well. And I believe where the others went with more subtlety, you went with more obvious displays of capability and protection.
Yeah, different role this time.
Absolutely. Hey, you got to, so you're effectively the heavily armed jangling keys here to keep everyone else looking elsewhere. So, I think you did make a pretty successful roll earlier to judge what's going on between these two, and the tension that you had picked up beforehand remains in place for the entire thing. I think that I don't recall you and Tilatoril talking about what to expect from this old kind of uncle advisor of this guy, but what if there was any takeaway that you had about it being a nurturing or supportive kind of thing? None of that is evident in the way that these two seem to speak to one another. They seem to be aware, at the least, the older Aslan seems to be cognizant of his reason for being here, and Tilatoril probably set the tone early on by not being the gracious and warm welcome that he had from his friends and supporters on the world. This is not the way he came into this, so he may have done a bit of he may have played his hand a little bit, as it were, in showing that we've talked about this before, but it's the bitch eating crackers thing, where if you dislike someone to the point where it's past the point of reasonableness, where you're like, look at that fucking bitch eating crackers. That is effectively what he has brought to the table here, is the bitch eating crackers.
No dear.
Yeah, so there is very, very limited conversation or discussion. If you're trying to draw things out, you're certainly able to do that. And why don't you give us
I'm going to say, in some ways, I might act as like a deflection from that, because I'm a neutral party, and my simple questions will probably sort of slightly neutralize the tension, maybe.
Yeah, at least it gives them an opportunity to stop, sparring with one or two word exchanges. So why don't you give us a diplomat check, please?
I do actually have maybe at 0. Let's have a look. There it is.
Okay.
It's flat at 0. Let's give that a try. That was terrible.
It's terrible, but I don't think it's not a crit fail. So, the Aslan have a saying: a match in a forest fire is not going to make a difference. So,
fair enough.
You can't go more bad. What at best, what might inadvertently come across is it may seem as if you are being partisan, trying to, score points for him in this conversation where the points don't matter. So it just makes an unpleasant trip. Really, if you want to spend 2 luck points on that, it'll make it so it's not going to make a difference. You're not really trying to achieve anything here.
I guess so, yeah.
There also is, there is no consequence from it either. You didn't screw it up so badly that someone's screaming for a duel. It's just going to be a really unpleasant, trip here.
Which might mean that I don't manage to extend or delay this tour quite as much as I would have liked.
Precisely, yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's fair enough.
The trip is, to be honest, in part because there isn't much to see, and because the answers are, when you do ask questions, they're so terse that you're back at the residence probably before you would prefer to be. I don't remember whether or not you guys had set any, like, you were going to chime the comm unit twice or something like that to notify once you guys were free and clear of the infiltration?
Yeah, I think if we have comms units, then some sort of innocuous signal.
Okay.
Maybe once we've cleared the city outskirts and are away from the house.
Okay. So perhaps there's a moment, Dane, when you've cycled through what there is to see of this part of Sync, and you've delayed as much as you can. Telatoro doesn't seem to have it in him to try and push it out further than what it was, than what they're willing to go on with. And likewise, this guy isn't trying to delay things any further. You're getting a little worried as you're getting closer to that compound with that beautiful garden around it again, and it's as you guys are, within 20 feet of the wall that you hear the kind of static come in over the comm, and you're confident that everyone has completed whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
Do you have a way of notifying Telatoro, or do you think he would have I think he was involved with the planning of most of this anyway, so he may actually have a comm bud as well.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll probably like a simple code word, like, I don't know. All good. Just all good.
We are out from stealing this stuff.
Yeah. We've successfully stolen his stuff.
Exactly. Goes into a whole summary of the last session, and then we did this. And so with the code word or the code sound or whatever it is coming across, you and Telatoro exchange a knowing look. And he looks back, and the Telatoro offers thanks to his elder, and his elder once again gestures for him to come back inside. Telatoro politely refuses and says, perhaps tomorrow.
No. Yeah.
And he's this is unprompted, but the Ifeohoi Koalea then says, well, it may be unsafe for you to travel unaccompanied even with a human bodyguard. Allow one of my men to accompany you. And Telatoro looks at you and looks at him and says, it will not be necessary. I am in safe hands. And this is all happened in Galangalik as well, too, so that clearly he wished for you to say, or for you to understand, and Telatoro has responded in kind. So he nods, and then the two of them leave. Before they reach the walls going into the garden, or the surrounding garden around his property, you can see he leans in and says something to one of the guards, and the other guard kind of like hurries his way in. You and Telatoro are free to get back into the air raft if you like, and would you like to take your leave? Oh, you're muted, Graham. I think so. Toast to Mo.
Hey, Mo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If that's the signal, we'll do it.
So you hop back in, and there's a whoa. I can't remember. Do you have what is it? Drive Grav or pilot Grav? Flyer.
Yeah, it's flyer Grav.
Right.
Yep. I have.
So safe operation is just a 6. Oh, it's landing safely is a 6. I think depending on how indirect a route and how fast you want to get out of here, You know, I imagine one thing you're thinking is like the faster we get out of town, the faster we make our exit, the less likely they are to be able to pick up our trail.
Yeah, I think I'm sort of critically aware of the limitations of my flying capabilities, so I think I will probably not speed too much on the basis that could be even worse than anything else.
Does a grav car grant a handling bonus though?
I'm not sure. It might do.
I think that it does.
Well, I tell you what, I've made the roll, and it's a humdinger.
Okay, so
Nice.
there
You
is.
should start flying the ship.
That is a double 6, actually. So.
You see the there is a point where you see some of the robed figures, the monks of Sync, who are going by, and you make a well-timed thing where you kind of cut around them down alongside the procession and then back around again. So it is going to be nigh impossible for anyone to effectively, follow you. And once you hit the limits of town, that's when you hit the thing into full overdrive, and it's right out across the green landscape. And Tila Toro is quiet during all this time, just looking to the side out the thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, here's an interesting
wonder.
question. For the what side of the vehicle is the driver sitting in?
Well, obviously it's right-hand drive, which is the imperial standard. Yeah.
Let's see how
Obviously.
they spell favor and how they spell,
Armor.
exactly anything. No, you are.
It's Mongoose, right?
Yeah. Well, that's why this is a nice center, but my firm is a London-based firm, and even all of our stuff is set to default English spelling, so I have to keep fucking changing stuff over.
Well, yeah,
Or-
I can confirm that armor
American
is
spelling.
O-U-R in the rule book.
Ah, there you go. So this flies out across, and I think at 800 kilometers an hour, you are likely able to reach back before your. Oh, did you want to pick up your comrades?
So I'm not sure what we'd agreed.
I think we're hiking back.
I think
to
we're hiking
the...
back, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had taken the opportunity to go in sort of the opposite direction. Mm-hmm. So you will be back in at the Rift Wanderer before everyone else does, and when you zoom back up into the cargo hold, Tila Toro will, once the grav car comes to a rest, or air raft rather, he will step out, and before he heads to the back, heads back up to where his quarters are, he will turn and thank you.
Okay. No, of course that's fine. But if you'd forgive me, before you head into the main part of the ship, I'd like to do a security sweep.
So he just agreed.
I don't trust anything here. So I'm just going to I'll probably do a visual search.
So why don't you give us a recon check, I think. And
Okay.
let's hear. I think intellect is probably what you'd use with that.
Yep.
Okay.
I've just got a DM +1 on this.
Okay. Why don't you roll one more d6? Because I think I'd let you roll with a boon. You know this ship pretty well now, and you've got your security routines in. This is kind of the... we haven't talked about it. So did you want to use the 1 or the 1?
I'll have the 1. I
Okay,
think.
good. Wise choice. Others may choose otherwise, but you have discerning eye. Do you want to spend any luck on that?
I'd like 1 if possible. I mean, I'm being cautious, but thank you.
So you are confident. There's a great scene in Dr. No where Sean Connery puts that little stick of hair on. It's not Sean. It's Sean Connery, but James Bond, I guess, puts that hair. Licks it and sticks it to the thing, and he sees that it's there, so it's undisturbed. Whatever the sci-fi version of that is, you have done that on the ship. So there's all sorts of little, clever things that will work out for the ship. You're confident that no one else has been here, and more to the point, you've gone and checked the where you have landed casual viewers or the casual viewer might think that, oh, this is just a bunch of rocks and overgrown grasses and whatnot, so you're not going to be able to notice when someone goes by, but it's lichen that seems to be on everything here, right? Because it's such a moist place, so that stuff gets scraped off quite easily, and you're able to go around and you're confident that nothing, unless someone has either flown in here or has been extremely cautious to step only on stones and then not visibly disturb your ship, nobody has been here.
Okay. All clear.
Okay. With that in mind, you're able to go in, and Tilo will have retired to his quarters to await delivery of the rest of the stuff. Anchor and Dr. Ilias, it will probably be so it's 4 kilometers an hour is usually, no, 6 kilometers an hour, because it's 4 miles an hour you can hike. So it'll be about just shy of 2 hours for you guys to get back to the Rift Wanderer. Is there anything you wish to do or discuss in the interim?
I don't know. I don't think so. We're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna be able to examine this thing until we get to the ship anyway. So
yeah,
it's probably best to look casual.
Okay. So
I mean, Anchor's walking leisurely because you humans have short strides. So
That's...
I think pardon me. A discussion where Dr. Elias will just comment on how different all of these worlds are. The last one we were on is the space station with people trapped inside, and here it's all of this open space, this greenery and amazing landscapes, and just so I make sort of chit chat about the surroundings as we trudge along.
Nice. Oh, Dr. Ilias for sure is the yuppie hiker. Brand new slacks, brand new backpack. So that's awesome. All right, so then it's otherwise you're not interrupted or disturbed. You really I don't think hear any vehicles in the time that it takes you to get back to your back to the ship. Dane, is there anything you wish to do in the interim for the time it takes for them to get back? You're probably gonna have an hour and a half at least.
Not really. I'll just make sure I'm on the comm channels. Possibly I don't know. Just keep an eye on the cameras.
Okay.
Just keep a visual check on the surroundings of the ship, and that's probably about it.
Okay. Then it is about an hour and hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes before the others arrive back at the ship. I imagine there is some kind of, like on the landing gear or something like that, there's some button you can hit or some code you can enter to let the ships go down. I'm assuming you didn't leave the doors open, Dane?
No, I didn't. No,
okay.
I perhaps the final half an hour, I'll optimistically practice the future tense of my truck.
Yeah. Nice. Donde es la biblioteca? The other opportunity too, this is, when you have an opportunity to kind of air out the Rift Wanderer as well. The last couple of planets don't really, or at least your ports of call have not really accommodated that.
That's true.
So this is a particularly, fresh, opportunity to open up all the ports and whatnot and let everything air out.
Breathe.
Yeah, precisely. So then, with that, Dr. Ilias and Anchor, you will arrive back at the Rift Wanderer and find that the doors are open. I think you guys have only been gone in total, like on the outside, maybe 5 hours. So there is probably plenty of daylight left because I think you guys said you arrived in the morning. So what do you guys do next? You have your intel, or at least the package that you had secured from Efai Hoi Koilea.
Right. Well,
I guess we I don't know who's our computer guru, or do we want to get out of here first and do it while we're in transit? or I mean, can the ship analyze it by itself, or do we need like more computing power? I guess. I feel like the ship.
The ship can likely do it. The difficulties you're going to have the difficulty it would have would be if it is in the Aslan tongue. You're going to have to translate it. Although there is going to be a degree of auto translate that you can take advantage of. I imagine that when you were contemplating leaving Ultima 1 behind, that he provided some kind of, ensure that you had some kind of rudimentary translation software, at least, to do that. Assuming you don't want, Tilatoril can also assist with or conduct the kind of review. The challenge is going to be the decoding. There's going to be a degree. This person is a espionage agent for the for Tilatoril's clan. Just getting the name. The Iowoi clan. So there will be a measure of that, although Tilatoril will have access to the cryptographic key in order to access anything that is official. But assuming this guy knows what he's doing and he has been up to no good, he probably has that encrypted in some other means. So
could I just check what our next steps are, regardless of what we find, or not regardless, but depending perhaps on what we find in the data packets that we've acquired?
It's my understanding that one way or another we will head to Turok and deliver our package, but we do have a bit of extra time, I believe, if we felt we needed to go somewhere else first.
Well, I'm just thinking that depending on the content and what we decipher, if we can, then I think we need to give Tilatora some opportunity to reflect on what we find and decide what he feels is the best course of action and whether he needs to do anything here before we head away. Or at least give him the opportunity. I don't know. I don't know what you think.
No, I agree. I think we should try and decipher it. Maybe not on planet side. Maybe we can go back up into orbit.
Yeah, sure.
But decipher it, see what we can find out, and then discuss with Tilatoril if he wants to have another chat or confront or needs more information. So I don't think we should jump until we know what's on this disc. This
is also a relatively empty planet as well, too. So if you wish to just do a kind of a suborbital, what is it, parabolic arc to get to somewhere else on the planet, you go somewhere where no one will see you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd go for that. Just put us down somewhere out of the way.
Okay.
How did the meeting go between the two, Dane?
Not good. Any sense that this person was warm towards Tilatora was quite the opposite. It was strained. They kept to the sort of code of politeness at times, but they sort of ran that edge of that politeness to the almost too much. So it became clear that it was tense. Not good at all.
So we must assume that he knows this wasn't just a pleasure visit or farewell, but there might have been other motives for the visit.
Yeah. He wasn't welcomed, really. And there might be more than that. It might not be just that he wasn't welcomed. It's just that it would have drawn out possible things that didn't want to be drawn out. Perhaps the packet will tell us what they are.
So then, what do you guys wish to do with the ship, I guess, first? Are you going to go and establish an orbit around this planet? Are you going to go and land elsewhere on the planet? Are you going to travel elsewhere in the system? You have quite, several days before you would reach a jump point anyway. What do you guys think?
I mean, do we need to linger here? People might be chasing Littoral. I would say do we have to refuel, or how is that working?
You have an extra tank, I believe, in the cargo hold right now, so you're free to make 2 jumps. You just made the one jump to here, and you got plenty of gas to go elsewhere.
Yeah, let's do it then.
Plenty of gas.
Take advantage of that. Plenty of fuel. I think, what is it? Is it solid hydrogen? It's hydrogen, right?
Yeah.
It's liquid hydrogen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's go. I say we go.
Okay.
We don't need to linger here.
So start making your way.
Should we not decipher the information first, Anchor?
Well, on the way.
It'll be D6 hours to decipher. And
what if Littoral decides he needs more information from?
Oh.
Let me tell you about. Because I think there is a thing for reaching orbit. Surface to orbit. 2,000 seconds. So, very helpful for them to put that in a format everyone uses, right?
Yeah, regular.
33 minutes.
That's it? Okay, so it'll take you half an hour to get to orbit.
Okay. When you say orbit, do you mean is that 100 diameters, or that's just orbit?
No, that's just orbit.
Just orbit on the planet, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so, okay. You want to go? So let's do that. Want to stay in orbit? And then as soon as, let's see if we...
Yeah.
Okay. The once everything seals up, we see the Rift Wanderer once again take off, scorching the surface, leaving a clear indication of where you may have landed, and head up into orbit. Who is going to take the lead on deciphering this stuff? It'll be electronics computer.
But, I mean, I have to fly, right?
Cornelius has some competency in that.
Yep.
Littoral is not surprised. I don't think.
Alonso.
Let me double check here. I'm going to see if he can offer any meaningful help. He cannot. Yeah, he has other strengths. Hacking is not one of them, unfortunately.
I've got electronic computers 1, so it's not.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So the two of you want to work together on this.
If it helps.
Yeah,
if it helps rather than hinders you.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Any help is welcome.
All right.
So why don't you roll with a boon then, Dr. Ilias?
Okay, nice.
And it will be a 10 in order to crack this.
Come on.
Computers.
This is where we spend the rest of our luck.
Hey!
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Good
All
job.
right. So yeah, with and give us a D6 roll, please. Let's see how long it takes. Excellent. Okay, so it does take a fair bit of time to get through this. So the majority of your day has been spent out getting this stuff and then dealing with this. That's also a 10-hour day, so not a short one.
Now, if this is just a series of takeaway menus, I'm not going to be happy.
Really? It's a bunch of pictures of his grandkids.
Yeah.
Like, oh, for fucking hell.
Damn it.
Lonzo! The wrong drive.
So what you find, it'll take a further D6 hours to go through the material, including the encrypted and the other encrypted stuff, just because there's just a lot of material. This is a guy who's otherwise a fairly, he's, to use a modern thing, he's CC'd on every fucking email that goes about, whatever's going on in here. So there's a lot of detritus to make your way through as well. Why don't you give us I
was going to say, I wonder if after we've got all this together, I wonder if Alonso could produce a media package on it that kind of draws it all
cloud.
together. You know, it's not quite the Labour manifesto for 2024.
Use some Python to
something.
make a nice,
Nice. Would someone give us a D6 roll once again? Let's see how many hours of sorting this is going to take.
Nice.
3 hours. So it is going to be a long-ass day if you're going to power through.
That's power.
Okay, so then we... Let me just check. Oh, there's no glossary. Oh, there is. There is. Excellent. Or index. I'm wondering about fatigue. Because that is a... There's also the fact that you guys got into orbit and then landed here and did everything without sleeping as well. So there may just be like a bit of bleariness. But let me see. Let me see. I don't remember how... Oh, you know what? It's in the companion. It's in the companion, guys. I can justify a book. There we go. Hot damn. I think it's also we justified it with the backwoods landing as well, so... It's all coming up companion today. There's starvation and thirst. I bet you it's roundabout in here. Hypothermia, heat stroke. Do you guys remember seeing anything about lack of sleep in the core book?
No. I'll look, sorry.
I guess I take from the reaction it would have jumped out to you, but I think
I deliberately did.
It's on page 80.
Yeah, page 80.
Yeah.
After staying awake a number of hours greater than your endurance plus 18. So, does anyone have an endurance that's less than 6?
-6.
Yeah, okay, good. So you guys, you're going to be tired. Your eyes are going to be a little sore from this stuff. You're ready for bed. But no one is suffering any kind of penalties or has to make any kind of rolls to continue working past this point.
It's interesting because it says, it does say after making a number of consecutive melee attacks. And it's interesting how I just read that as a number of consecutive meetings. But I'm going back to my working life there, where I can attest that 3 meetings, you're out. You're just out.
Well, I can tell you, as a non-second, we played Fallout for the first time on Friday night, and one of the cool things with that is they have measures of exhaustion and thirst and hunger. After every violent encounter, your thirst and your exhaustion drops down by 1. So there's it's a neat mechanic for like in D&D or D&D-esque games. The way that they encourage the sleep cycle mechanic when you're sandboxing is I'm out of spells, right? Like I'm out of things I can do, so I need to take a rest in order to get that shit back. This has a neat way of sort of encouraging that too, where you can't just keep blazing your way through. You're going to reach a point where you're like you're just slamming caffeine pills or Nuka-Cola to carry on. So I like that. Okay, anyway, let's see here. Here's what you find. So you can picture you're all sort of collected together in that, probably in the guests' lounge. So if we're actually back on board, I can go back to the Rift Wanderer. Still with no door leading from the crew lounge into the cockpit, I think. Yeah, no way to get to the cockpit. So you are upstairs and going through this information. What you find is, while there is a great deal of correspondence concerning for what you would expect his role to be, both his official role and his kind of unofficial role as effectively a spy in the region. There is a distinctive tone of dissatisfaction with his placement on sync. So that he continues on with that stuff in the most seemingly the people he is the most personally affected with, and it begins over time to seemingly bleed over into correspondence with other stuff. Which among you do you think would be most placed to read subtext into the tone of correspondence?
Alonso.
yeah, for sure, Alonso, definitely.
I think maybe Dr. Ilias and his experiences in academia and research.
Yeah, I think anyone who has attended a graduate program knows what passive-aggressive emails sound like when you're getting them from colleagues.
I mean, investigate, because Anchor is into conspiracy theories. I was looking for.
Yeah, actually, absolutely. Yeah.
Remember, we're working on a book with Alonso.
That's right. Yeah. So, Anchor, you're the one.
The Hidden Admiral. I think that's the name of it.
Nice. I think the Hidden Admiral is the name of a sex position as well. On sorry. The
X card.
Yeah. What the correspondence that you're picking up, Anchor, is that there is inevitably going to be some routine interclan messaging that goes on with the with anyone in his type of position, both between those who are allied with the clan, like the overall clan that the Iowoi clan is allied with, and also with others who are allied to other more greater houses. There is always, going to be some degree of communication between them, but what you pick up, Anchor, is that there seems to be a subtle shift to phrasing that would suggest that he was open to other offers when dealing outside the structure of the great house that Iowoi is aligned with. That then comes in a roundabout way where there is a great deal of correspondence with a clan called Hatayaweo, and I'll put that in chat. Hatayaweo begins having some correspondence with him, which is couched in vague terms referencing Aslan cultural heroes who face difficult choices when their clan lord disrespected them or failed to reward loyalty. Tila Toro will be able to give some insight into the context for this, and Anchor, you are the one, though, who picks up the subtleties of these messages. There is then a sudden change where Afio Hoikoilea begins openly sending information on his clan's ambitions and future projects. These are the ones that are more cleverly concealed, though revealed through your computer hacking, Dr. Ilias and Dane. Among these is the particulars of force strengths, projected routes, and timing of Tila Toro's arrival at Aransir. If there was any question before, it is clear that the person who sent information to Clan Hatayaweo, who have allies on Aransir, it's clear who that person is.
Oh my goodness.
This is as much of a smoking gun as you could want from this. And the nail in his coffin, as it were, there is a return offer from Hatayaweo, specifically offering high office and transfer to a posting more suiting of his skills and talents. This is not a sudden turn of events. This is a opportunity to really offer something of value to position Hatayaweo over Iowoi in a meaningful way after years of kind of, playing footsie, as some may put it.
So in a way, how far would we say that he was groomed? An element of that, certainly.
If you ask that of Tila Toril, his eyes would go kind of over to Dr. Ilias and say that Ephialkolea is no novice in these arts. This is not a aging mind who was manipulated by others. This is a disgruntled underling and traitor.
So he's dealing with another clan, a clan that is not, that is a rival of Tila Toril's clan to try to discredit Tila Toril. Is that the whole?
Yeah.
Because he's a like a hero or a clan hero.
Hatayaweo is a clan allied with a rival to the major house or the great clan that Tila Toril's clan is allied with. You think of it like it's down the branch. It's the kind of like this is the, cascading series of alliances that results in a great war kind of, afternoon in Sarajevo type of situation where the one minor clan has taken advantage of another minor clan, but both of them owe their allegiances to some other greater clan.
Okay.
So this is not a matter of like another clan that otherwise services the great house in some way and just this guy's jockeying between them. He's going to a wholly separate series of alliances that lead up to a different major clan. This is a clear act of betrayal. It is clearly not only evidence of his culpability in the betrayal of Tila Toril, it also is evidence of unbecoming warfare. So if you were looking for the thing that would shift the blame from Tila Toril being effectively like the Ihate equivalent of a fail son to just being someone who is betrayed and is personally responsible for failing, this has positioned it now where rather than him automatically being put to death, there is a chance of redeeming his honor. Though, from what you've read, Dane, he would still need someone to stand as second in order to do that. So, if you were looking for evidence that would put you in the position to be able to manipulate such things such that Dane may be able to fight for Tila Toril's life, you have what you need here.
Right. Asking Tila Toril then, is there anything that you want to do with this? Well, first of all, it is difficult news on one level, but it is useful in another, as is so often the way. But is there anything that you want to do with this information while we are here on Sync or in orbit around Sync, or is it just something that you can now take and use?
He is of no value to us. He is of no value to Iowoi. And he is of no value to Hatayaweo. He can wait.
Very good.
Justice will not. He wouldn't say justice. I think it's not really something. His fate. He can contemplate that. And knowing him as you have over these past few months, there is still a simmering anger to what Tila Toril it seems to be dealing with right now, but finding this out seems to have afforded some measure of maybe the way that things went on the surface has afforded him the way of processing this in a way that, because until you found this, he could have been wrong, right? Like, what would happen if you didn't find the evidence? Is it then that he is just the failed Ihate? Did he bring all this shame on everyone? So, as disappointing as this may be, there's probably a degree of he's had confirmation of suspicion. So there's a degree of relief that comes from that. If it wasn't this guy, then how do you explain what happened?
Yeah.
Right?
And from the notes, is it very much the Toril was a means to an end for the betrayer to get a better pose? It wasn't like targeted, not like there wasn't like a personal vendetta element.
No.
Was it just like a means to an end, the best opportunity for him to prove his loyalty to his new?
Yeah, and however fondly that Faihoi Koilea may have felt towards Tila Toril, at the end of the day, he is loyal to Tila Toril's father, the clan head, right? Not for, not to him himself. And as Ihate, there is a connection. We've talked about it before, but there is that connection to the clan, but it's not like he's going to lead the clan at some point. Any greatness he may have for that. From the grousing that you're seeing in the emails, the correspondence up until now, it seems as if he's it's as it appears. He was a disgruntled former, asset who may not have been happy with his posting here and just took the first opportunity he could to truly, because there's correspondence to tons of different clans where he's not so subtly expressing the possibility of leaving and going elsewhere. This, like the consequence that this has had on the Great House, the amount of effort that's been expended to try and prevent him from going back home and allowing him to redeem whatever has been done. That speaks to the rivalry between the two great houses that are really the ones that are potentially going to kick off. If a war kicked off between those two great houses and all of their client houses, or clans rather, that would have been, that's where this is a ideal opportunity. Whether this guy had any second thoughts about betraying this person who Tila Toril thought that he viewed him as a son or at least a valued family member, there's no evidence of it in there. So it doesn't seem like he's been waiting to fuck over Tila Toril all these years. It's,
I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because one interpretation could be that if somebody wants a war between these two clans, that we were probably supposed to find this information. You could dive even deeper. That might not be the case, but that would be a nice knife within a knife. That all came out. Well, that's fine because we wanted it to come out.
Well, and what it does do is a senior espionage asset on sync has now been exposed and now potentially is going to have to go. So even if it doesn't come to war, there's one significant asset that's been resolved. So there's not a bad end for, Hatayaweo. So Tila Toril, we'll sit and listen to any further questions that you have or any further interrogation of this information that you have. But I think he will at the earliest opportunity, request time to retire in order to contemplate on this. But I say that only to let you know what he's going to do. He's going to sit in the background and otherwise listen. Do you guys have any other information you want to try and glean from this? Any other, insights that you guys have on this?
Just two things. Dr. Elias will make multiple copies of this, just to make sure we have ways of backing up in case something happens. And is there any information?
Dr. Elias moves the coffee very slightly away from the keyboard from Whaley.
Yeah.
Is there any information hidden in the correspondence about the attempts at stopping Ilatol from going home? Is there anything in terms of the opposition we've experienced so far?
No, interestingly, he was aware of what happened. Like, the outcome on Aaron Sear was not a surprise. He was aware of that stuff. There was no further correspondence with Hatayaweo, but so, like, there wasn't any confirmation, like, I've done my job and let's go. There is also no correspondence whatsoever about the pursuit of him. At least not on the, not only not from the clan, but also not from the, like, from the Iowoi clan, but also not from, the contact that he had with the Hatayaweo. So it seems like if there was any, whatever coordination there was on Hatayaweo and their allies to try and intercept Tilatoril, this guy wasn't involved with any of that. Curiously, I mean, maybe not curiously, but, like, there's also, apart from some asking whether anyone had seen, like, the types of clan correspondence that you would have expected, there isn't any. Remember that somebody from the Iowoi clan paid for you guys to transport him back, right?
Yeah.
This guy was not CC'd on that. So that seems to have been arranged outside of his involvement.
Yeah, he had a very particular use, which he's undertaken, and there are more strands. He's one asset who does one job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's whoever the mastermind is on the Hatayaweo side, like, there's not a bad outcome for them in this.
No.
So
delicate.
Then, any other questions or any other observations on this information? Suffice it to say that what you've got here, especially for those choice bits, you've got, like I said, everything you need in order to tilt things in your favor, or in favor of the outcome you want for Dane to be engaged in, standing in for Tilatoril.
It's a smoking gun, isn't it?
I guess from a procedure point of view, for us to present this information, I think Dr. Elias would ask Tilatoril if there's anything among his people that, if it's presented in a certain way, it's inadmissible in court, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Where,
Finally, the technicalities of getting written evidence before a court comes to the table. I can't tell you how pleased I am. Now, did we identify it as Exhibit A or Exhibit 1? I want to know if we... Suddenly, there's a wash of unsubscribes from the channel. What the timing of this would be is likely upon successful arrival. The other... If you talk about what the next step is once you get to Tyok, Tyac is it is a busy port too. It is the kind of thing where there's a lot of clans from a lot of different rankings for it. So what you can expect is flight control that is going to largely be directed through, at least for the major starport, that is going to be organized in terms of clan ranking. So there isn't a guaranteed place and time you're going to land. However, the Iowoi clan does have a minor, not necessarily a starport, but like at least a place where you can land one of the ships. So you should be able to land among the Iowoi clan and their allies separately. However, it's unclear how aggressively you will be met when you reach the Tyac system. So the home stretch may very well be one of the more dangerous final routes in order to get there. Presenting the information would be something you would want to communicate once you are secure that is going to go directly to them. So that is likely we are en route to the starport. We're transmitting information you need to review before we get there. There are some other things as well. Once Tila Toril arrives on Tyac, and by arrives I mean literally steps foot off onto the world, he will not be able to communicate anymore. Until his honor is re-established and the outcome is set, he does not have standing or the right to speak on his behalf. However, his honor guard and his retinue would be permitted to do that. And there isn't a matter of like filling out forms or whatnot. If you guys show up and act as if you are his honor guard, which is what would be required as sort of a first step towards Dane being his second in this duel, Tila Toril expects that none among his father's honor guard or the clan's honor guard would challenge that. They are far too well-mannered to do that. But there may be others. This is where proxy rudeness sometimes can be of value. I obviously cannot say that, what the fuck are you doing? This is inappropriate, because you are my guest. My cousin, however, may quite happily voice my intent on my behalf, though of course I would be embarrassed by him doing so. Which is to say, when you arrive, once he sets foot off of this vessel onto Tyac, he will not be able to speak again until his outcome is determined, or the outcome of his manner of restoring his honor. Assuming that his father accepts what evidence he has, then it would be in his father's hands to decide what happens with the death sentence that has been announced. If he cannot just let him restore his honor or die with honor in a duel, but if someone puts themselves forward as a second for that would effectively open the door for his father to say, you die in combat. And the degree to which you choose to enter into that combat, Dane, that'll dictate sort of the honor that you would bring back. It's reasonable for you to go in with monkey knives because you don't have dew claws.
No.
If you go in unarmed, that may shock people. And not in I can't believe he didn't understand this, but this is how valued someone is. I don't think this is something Tila Toril would have told you, but this would be like a flashback to you having a detailed conversation with Ultima 1 about this. Because I imagine you would want to know all the particulars of one of the first things you were doing to equip yourself with how to properly conduct yourself in the Aslan society, I imagine was, all right, let's start with the most important thing I'm doing here, which is standing in as the duelist. What it would tell you is what you choose as a weapon is one of the things that will inform how they will view you. So if you had mentioned before that you were uncertain of what your place would be, or what your, whether there was a place within the Tilatoral's household for you. If you truly want to knock the socks off of Aslans, and Aslan, of course, being a species famous for wearing socks on their, feline feet. If you really want to impress them, that is a way to do so. If you could maneuver yourself into a position where you're entering into a duel and you're doing it not only with recognizing what the value of monkey knives are, but then leaving them behind. Even the most credulous of Aslan traditionalists would be really impressed with that. It would leave you unarmed facing a trained executioner. But
I'd rather banked on using having trained to use the knives. So that's unfortunate.
It would be unfortunate if you did an outcome, but as far as the impression you wish to leave on them, that is one thing they will consider, is what you're using. They would have expected, it would not have been unreasonable for you to bring a dagger, for instance, into the duel. By bringing monkey knives, you're showing them something. You're showing them that you have an understanding of what is accepted for non-Aslan. To go in and then leave those behind, or to go in unarmed against it, the combination of knowing what the proper rituals are and then choosing to go in short-handed as a weakling, pathetic, non-dew claw having human goes even further to show a level of respect. And it doesn't show arrogance or confidence, or at least it does in a way that would be viewed by them as a measure of really recognizing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not pressuring you in this. I want you to.
No.
I imagine
at least I'll have their respect.
Yeah, you'll understand it precisely those things, and it's something for Dane to weigh over for precisely how how
so
he wishes to go in.
We will all be his retinue, so we will be able to act as a group, giving us freedom to act.
Yeah.
And I suppose from a second point of view, I will go in confident that that's what I am. As in, that's just expected. I am a bodyguard, and I'm there. Mm-hmm. And there might even be an Aslan term for a particular member of the retinue that has that role.
There may very well be. Yeah, I'll check the source book for it otherwise.
In which case, I'll use that term.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You probably would wish to ask for permission from Tilatoral to make use of that first.
Yeah.
Right, because they said it's feudalism, dawn till dusk in this, culture. So any title that you have would not be assumed; it would be something that you would be granted.
Yeah.
So, but I think that if you intimate towards that, he would happily. He's already accepted you as sort of a second, informally, and if that is brought up, then he would certainly, when you're talking about what to expect when you reach Tyok, he would happily bestow that on you.
Okay.
So, anything further you wish to discuss about this information, or what to expect and how to make use of it? I guess first off, my jokes about submitting exhibits aside, Dr. Ilias, does that answer your question about how to get this information before the court?
Yeah, I think it does. I think that Ilias is maybe slightly concerned that if it just goes to one person, and seeing as we already had someone betray and we're not sure who's involved, if it just goes to one person, if they don't pass it on or make the information disappear.
Yeah. No,
then Tilatorl will, it won't do us any good. So that's why he would ask.
Tilatorl
How can we disseminate it? Who can we give it to?
Whatever sympathies he had for this old guy before seem to be evaporated, and he is happy to canvas his shame with everybody, It is the angriest reply all that you've ever seen in...
Good.
Any other questions?
Well, I guess this was for Tilatorl. Is he ready to head home? Does he want more time to let it all sink in? Or do we plot a course for Tyok now? And
there is a measure of certainty to him now. You're mindful of the, or at least not mindful necessarily, but you are reminded of that. Do you remember the original picture that was shared with you by the rent investigators that led to your virus on your comm unit? Of him as a leader surrounded by Aslan soldiers and them all kind of cheering him? This is maybe one of the first times you're seeing the degree of certainty and just sort of the natural charisma that he has. Whatever uncertainty and other self-doubt and whatnot that he had before seems to have been dispelled by this unfortunate revelation.
So I think two things from what we're saying then we need to do en route to Tyok is to establish us as legitimate retinue with him, that we can then we can act and start to undertake what we need to do.
So to
give
do
him
that,
the position.
It's a very subtle thing. When you step off the thing and he's not able to speak anymore, if you are standing as his honor guard, no one should question that.
I just want to be clear with him that that's what we're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And secondly, that I will act as his second.
Yes.
So I want that established with him before we get to Tyok.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I think we just punch it.
He actually wryly says to you, why else would you purchase that? And he gestures to the monkey claws.
Why?
I think this is our first in-fiction justification of a purchase, guys.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, that was easy.
Yeah. He's, the thing that you maybe realize as well, like, for all this time, up until reading this stuff, there's always been that specter of, what if I'm wrong? Like, what if I fuck this up royally? Yeah. The prospect of actually being the failure and the cause of all this stuff, that uncertainty has weighed on him for such a long time. So there is a degree of disappointment and whatnot, but not whatever lack of confidence that came with that second guessing. That's dispelled now.
Right.
He knows he was betrayed. It's as he thought. It was a dishonorable conflict. And if he had been aware of that and he had fought an honorable conflict, who's to say what would have happened? If you ask Tilatorl in this state on this day, he would have conquered it in the name of Eowoi. So he is grateful for this, and he is ready to face the outcome. He will also offer to once again spar with you. If you are.
Yeah, we'll do that. I will probably.
Yeah. My next question for Dane is: are you ready, or do you need more time to spar and practice for being the second?
I will try to confirm with Tilatorl. I had assumed, and that is a danger always to assume, that I would use knives, these knives. It has been suggested to me by Ultima One and in conversation that to properly earn the respect as a non-Aslan, that I should forego the knives and spar without them. I would take your guidance on that.
He says that it was Ultima who provided that insight.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's the one who knows,
yeah.
He's been your
exactly.
sort of source of, it's exposition android is.
I'm happy looking at library data, but he's delved a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And so
I cannot ask for you to take any steps that you stand in as my second, and I trust that what decisions you make are best in that role. From what you have said, you understand the gravity of such a mantle. What you ask is a consideration the next scale of conflict. The duelist you will face is a professional.
Yeah.
Their role is some who would turn themselves for such combat lose their nerve. Others need a good showing to redeem honor before they die. The skill in managing such a deadly endeavor is not inconsiderate. Considerable.
Mm-hmm.
But
right.
Ultima One is not incorrect.
Right.
Facing an executioner when such blades are available for your kind, and without them, does not afford me any further benefit as the one benefiting from your second status. But for you, I have not heard of such a thing being done by a human. But it would be viewed as most brave by Aslan, though none would think you coward for using your knives. They show deference to our way, and he kind of snarls in a snarling laugh kind of way. Balance the scales for your physical shortcomings. You think this might be his first joke he's made to you?
All right. I'll smile. I will smile and say, I'm aware of those.
He's clearly made it as one of noble standing and whatnot to make a self-deprecating joke, however oblique it may be, at their expense. Says a lot about how much he understands your respect for his people and their ways.
So I think to answer your question, Dr. Elias, no, I'm not really ready. I think it's just tough. Tough luck. I'm going to do some unarmed combat training between now and getting to tank.
Okay. Any other things we should discuss about what to expect there?
There likely going to be any assassination attempts, physical attacks, things like that once we're there, or?
Well,
I mean, they might. He inferred that they might.
Yeah.
They might challenge our approach to the spaceport.
So maybe outside of immediate close orbit, they may feel more open to act.
Right.
Maybe.
You know, say it's like pirates or something. Like, oh well, Littoral, you know.
Yeah.
Got attacked by. Or so. I mean, there's a lot of people who have vendettas against him. Clearly, right? That human mercenary group, among others.
One of a human vessel is blown up. Like, that's unfortunate as far as the local news would consider it. But no one knows that Littoral is aboard your vessel either, right? So
yeah.
Who would live to tell them?
Yeah.
So we should practice gunnery simulations in jump space.
Yeah.
Can we change the transponder of the ship? Paint it a different color?
You can paint a different color, yes. Changing the transponder of our ship is a much more involved and illegal.
Very difficult.
Yeah. If you really want to get fired upon, that would be a way to go about doing that.
Yeah, then they're like, oh, they are pirates. Yeah, I knew it.
So it's lots of green neon grids on black with small ships dancing across the grid.
The one upside that you have there is it is to the interest of the Iowoi clan and their masters that he get there and prevent this. They're not in, otherwise there would have been a war, right? Like the fact that there is any kind of show up by X time and surrender yourself is because they don't want there to be that kind of conflict. Mm-hmm. What that means is there's probably going to be them. There will be allies there as well. So it may be a very dicey prospect that if anyone fires on there may be others firing back, and that leads to, that precipitates a war as well. So what Littoral can tell you is that once he sets foot on, once you transmit that information and he sets foot on Tyok, and they can physically tell that he is there, there is no value in killing him then. He's a dead man anyway. Worst case scenario for him is he's a dead Aslan. He's a dead Aslan. If they'd murdered him, he already surrendered himself for that, so there's no, it's not a matter of like, oh, you didn't stamp it, so unfortunately you don't get your free, no war in Aslan space card today, I'm afraid. If the ship is destroyed in orbit and it's not clear that he's aboard, you guys could get into orbit and immediately transmit his location. But you've already seen how many proxies have been trying to act. So some other human vessel blows up his ship and then travels out to jump and goes. Someone would be pissed about him getting murdered. But even that is probably... that'll service him getting murdered, but... Oh, and you wouldn't have presented the information by that point either, so...
Yeah. My ideal would be, it might be possible from what you're describing, I don't think this is possible, but would be to sort of tight beam communicate to the clan holding or the clan landing port through a tight beam communication to say that we've arrived, to perhaps at least, if we can't send the information over a tight beam link, we could at least alert them that we're here, perhaps enabling them to scramble a sort of honor, or not, no, honor's the wrong word, isn't it? But honor a series of ships to help us in.
Yeah. With the amount of expenditure that's gone to track him across the route to here, the Borderland Run, if you will, there's probably going to be a lot of ships looking at one another there. So if they did get it, one thing that this would be Anchor thinking through probably permutations of it. If you've got a standoff and there's all these ships from two different sides sitting in orbit or sitting in the system waiting, for so-and-so to show up, as soon as one of them starts making a movement, it's, classic Cold War naval thinking of like, okay, they're going there, so they must be going there for whatever reason, so we're going to send in, but so long as everyone's watching, maybe that is the safe way to get in. What do you guys think? I'm just checking with the tech for...
I'm wondering if we can...
Communication.
There's no way to... I don't know if it's possible in the universe. I've never actually thought about it, but I wonder if it's possible to drop in closer than 100 diameters.
There's
automatically
a possibility of jumping out, I think, early. Hold on.
We can jump early, but I don't know if you can jump...
It's a good question. Let's see.
Into the...
That'll be interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
And if we're not sitting out in space and among, like, flotilla of multiple clans...
Yeah. Let's see here.
I like that.
If only we had one of those military-grade flat globe generators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
when you did the
see.
Black Ops, remember? No, I don't think they're that. I don't think the power on the infiltrator ship would be. I don't know.
Sadly, even the second-hand one costs quite a lot. So
Yeah.
here we go.
Still within the 100 diameter limit is a DM -4 to make the jump.
Yeah.
So arriving, let's see. So I'm on 157 of the core book. There's nothing there, but let's take a look at Highguard. Because I bet you, and there's that new guidebook that just came out for...
the Starship Operations Manual.
Yeah. I wonder if that has information on it. That's it. From when I read through the PDF, or at least flipped through the PDF, it seemed to be more... in-universe information as opposed to... There we go. No, let's jump filters. Yeah, this is more building stuff and operating. I know the companion has some other stuff. Let's take a look at that. Let's see here. The jump drive, 149 in the companion. Jump masking. Here we go. While it is possible to jump from within the 100 diameters of an object, it is not usually possible to jump directly into an area masked by the 100 diameter limit of an object. Occasionally, a ship does emerge within this limit, but this causes damage to the jump drive and can sometimes cause a ship to disintegrate on emergence. It's not possible to hit a precise emergent point within a 100 diameter limit. Most commonly, attempting to do so will cause the ship to precipitate out of jump with damage to the drive at the 100 diameter limit. Let's see. Jumping within the 100 diameter limit of an object imposes a DM -4 on engineering J drive limit, and jumping within 10 diameters imposes a DM -8. It's still possible to make such a jump and survive. Possible, but not likely. So there you go, Carl. Page 150 of the thing. Your intrepid captain has a J drive. I think it's Captain Ganny who's been making all the J drive jumps, right?
Yeah.
The University of Space Phoenix. Let's see if those courses were worth the money they're paid to. The last word transmitted from the Rift Wanderer before it disintegrated within the 100 diameter limit was, I want a refund. He has a total of 3 to it. Okay. So, effectively, that means he needs to roll a 9 or higher in order to succeed on that. That assumes a within the 100, but outside of the 10. If you wish to go directly in orbit, it would be a 17 or higher he would need. No, that's not true. 16. So it would be a 13 or higher. So, I mean, piece of piss, guys, on 2 dice.
I was going to say, after all that, what a way to go.
Yeah. James is sitting somewhere where, enjoying dinner with his daughter right now, enjoying the 2 new kittens and being like, I don't know why, but I suddenly feel a chill go down my spine.
It's a jump shadow.
I mean, it's a potential idea to get
and like
the 100 diameter.
The DM -4 with luck modifier is not, with luck in the mix is not necessarily a worst case scenario. It seems like it's damage to the jump drive that would need to be repaired, and Tyok is a major spaceport too. You'd still have your maneuver drive, and you would still have, ideally, the last bit of pay from delivering your cargo. And when have dice ever come out unfortunate?
Yeah, no, it's a risk.
At the tail end of a 12-part or 28-part adventure. Why don't we do this? We're past our mid-session break.
I'll never be invited to a game again.
No, it's a great idea.
That time when you suggested we disintegrated. And...
Why don't we take our mid-session break right now, and then we'll come back and see
what... We do got to jump out of this system in any case, so...
this will be, we'll chat weigh in on how reasonable this plan might be. Then for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Right.
All right. Excuse me. And hey, everybody in chat. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. And your weekend has been a good one as well. And a happy Father's Day to any fathers who are joining us.
Happy Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, happy Father's Day, Kevin.
Thank you. Let's hear from my number one son during the break. That was great.
Good.
Oh, nice.
I got a...
He got me... like my birthday was the beginning of the month, and I got a Father's Day and birthday cards, 2 separate cards, because I'm fucking spoiled. But he also got me this saltwater taffy. That was I'm not a big candy guy, but it's the first time I've had taffy in a long time, and I swear, incredible tasting stuff. But I did not realize you need to let it soften at first, so I almost lost a filling to when I was chewing it.
Well, today was my son's first Father's Day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
which
that's
is
wonderful.
Pretty special, actually.
Yeah, no kidding. How nice is it to be able to call him and wish him happy Father's Day then too, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was quite nice.
Very, very nice. All right. Speaking of fathers, Tila Toro's is, of course, the clan head in there. So, what do we... I haven't checked with the chat. Have any great ideas for... The Aslan will be suitably impressed when the monkeys purposely disable their jump drive, tying their fate to that of the defendant. So there you go, guys. This is effectively burning out the engine to get there on time, right? So...
Well, to get there when they don't expect us, right?
It's a great, like, as far as, you know, some of the different prospective plans that you guys have put together or have suggested for this.
I'm sure we've done it before, right? Right, Dane?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, to actually...
Fourth Frontier War, you know?
Yeah, I mean, from a Navy point of view, that's what you do. You basically jump over the defenses.
And then when we win, the tenders just come and replace our jump drive. And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what battle tenders are for.
Yeah, it's really kind of a, you know, no guts, no glory kind of move. Like, getting within the 10 is the real, like...
Oh, I don't know if you want to do that.
-8?
Minus 8.
Because I was looking at the travel time. I will say this is one of the things I do love about this game is that, like, we can find these answers, right? Like, we don't have to...
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Well, I mean, I guess because the game has been around so long, there's
absolutely
probably an answer for everything, right?
Yeah.
It's been around since...
And they haven't fundamentally,
80,
you know, rewritten stuff about the setting. You know, there's been no, like, and then the magic works like this now, you know, the way there is with...
Traveler New Era kind of screwed things up.
Traveler New Era did, but the fundamental part of the technology, though, remained the same, didn't it?
Yeah, that's true. That's
like
true. I mean, there's some weird stuff, like there's a lot of... There's some cool stuff, like, I mean, I wish if they ever finished or publicly published, like the Jordani core expeditions. There's some... It's cool. It makes there's some weird shit out there. I guess that's the bottom line. Like, it's a big galaxy. There's some weird shit out there. And then the Rim expeditions one, that that book that came out, the Soleimani book, that's got some weird stuff too. So does the Deep Night Revelation, which I've never convinced any players to.
I keep accidentally grabbing Rim expeditions when I'm, because I've just
there's some weird shit there. Even like that's
a small craft one.
Yeah. There's some neat small craft in there. Yeah, I know. We did finally solve the murder mystery, by the way. Well, solve.
Oh, and yours? Nice.
I said solve. I think one of the players just like, I'm tired of doing this. We have the evidence. Let's just do it. But there's like a lot of, what I love is there's seeds of doubt. That's what I love.
Yeah.
There's compelling evidence, like physical evidence, but there's some like lingering, like, what the hell?
Well, I think I told you guys.
I don't think any of my players watch this, so maybe I can, I don't want to. But I don't know. So, sorry, Kevin. No, I don't think many of my players watch it.
No, that's fine.
I don't want to give anything away. Maybe we could talk in private. But...
The what do you call it?
I think one of them does. Probably one of them. At least one of them does.
I think I mentioned that the Noblesse Oblige, that Warhammer Fantasy adventure we played. Like the last time I ran that was with half of them were all lawyers. They had a harder time getting to resolution, being like, okay, we've got enough evidence than what you guys did.
Well, you throw in all sorts of weird stuff. Like I threw it, like, you know, a big red herring was like there was this suggestion that there was like psionic manipulation going around. So it's like, what the hell happened? But I never made the characters roll against any psionic manipulation. That is the truth. That is the truth.
Okay.
So, you know.
Nice. All right. So then what are we...
Maybe, I don't know. I made him do a lot of random rolls for no reason.
Yeah.
Because that's a great technique.
Absolutely. What game did we run recently that was... War Stories. War Stories talks a lot about making compelling blind rolls.
Oh,
just telling people to roll to, you know, a number of D6s and then...
That's such a good game. I really liked it. I got some ducats. I'm gonna maybe get that. That was so fun.
It's a neat, yeah.
Thanks, Shane, thank you, Graham, for suggesting.
Good. Yeah, it was good.
I call you Dane. I might start calling you your other forces.
So
that was a good game. I love the irony that I was the only European.
Yeah.
But the only American player. That was great.
It's great stuff. Yeah, we've had that's not secular. We're coming up now with the last 2 sessions of the charity games. We've had some fucking awesome games.
Lex Arcana and Star Trek.
Yeah. Lex Arcana next weekend, and then 2 weekends afterwards is Star Trek Adventures. And but yeah, like there's a lot of I have a running list of all the games we've run this year. And I've got a smaller list of the ones I'm like, boy, we really need to go back to this one again because that was really fucking fun. Shadowrun 6. I can't wait to run Shadowrun 6
I missed
again.
that one. I think I was at Chupacabra Con.
Yeah, you're at a con or something like that. So, but in any event,
some great time running some old school games. I ran AD&D the first time since like 88, I want to say.
Nice.
It was really nice. It's like riding a bike. Isn't that scary? I mean, it's like riding, you know.
Yeah.
I haven't played in so long, but like, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good, I mean, North Texas is a good con. I mean, I guess there's a stereotype that all these grognards are going to be like so stuck in the way they are, but I honestly had a better time there than at Chupacabra Con because people were engaged and paying attention.
Yeah.
Like at Chupacabra Con, there was like the personal and that kind of crap. So.
Huh. Well, I mean,
I had a person leave my table at Chupacabra Con. They're like, "Oh, I don't like this game," so they okay.
Really?
Yeah. So the Walking Dead game, amazingly.
What?
Yeah, whatever.
Wow, jeez.
I mean, people got maybe something. We have the X card thing, right? So maybe something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that could have been,
something bothered them, so it's fine. But it was weird.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Wow.
But so it was good. I had a good time. So.
Graham, you got a con coming up in a couple of weeks, don't you? As well.
Yeah, I've got we've got Aircon, which is a sort of local Manchester one, it's a small one. But I go to about 10, 11 probably in a year. There's a very vibrant sort of small con scene in the UK. We're talking numbers of certainly less than 200, maybe 100. It's almost like a meetup, but I run about 3 or 4 of them, well, 5 of them. But there's just loads across the country. You can be anywhere, and there's a con. It's a very busy schedule.
It's nicer, I imagine, too, because it's a smaller distance. It's easier to make a con when it's you're only driving 200 kilometers as opposed to like 1,400 or
200 kilometers is a long way.
Yeah, that's the saying, right? So 100 years is a long time in North America. 100 miles is a long distance in the UK.
Exactly, it's true.
How far is 200 kilometers? Like
200 kilometers is so there's
miles.
60. Yeah, it's 60 miles to
120. That's like from here to Waco. That's like that's no problem. 2
Yeah, I
hours.
know.
I mean, I drove up to Dallas.
My drive back home is about between
okay,
1,200
sorry,
1,500
I forget Canada,
kilometers.
right? So
Yeah. We well, I mean, Texas, like of all states, it's the biggest fucking state by landmass, right? So you.
Well, other than Alaska, but probably.
Is Alaska bigger?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like you could fit like 2 or 3 Texases in Alaska. It's stupid.
Wow. Huh.
It's stupid.
Okay. All right. So then, for arriving in, I guess first off, you guys are in orbit right now, still around sync. So, what while Dane wasn't able to delay the arrival back to the what's his name's location, Dane has successfully chit-chatted his way to the next session. Is likely going to be when his duel will be occurring. So, a stay of attempted execution, as it were. So then, what's the plan here? Teal Toro will retire afterwards to just contemplate everything he's learned and reflect on things, but it will give the crew an opportunity to talk amongst yourselves. You guys maybe all head downstairs to the crew quarters, have a shared meal once again. What are you guys going to do?
Well, we'll fly out to I propose that plan, I guess, that we could try to jump within the 100 diameters. I don't know if I want to risk. I know you're an expert captain, but with the jump drives and stuff, but I don't know. I wouldn't recommend trying to get to the 10 diameter.
Now, Captain Ganny, if you object to this this proposed course of action, just go ahead and say,
raise your hand. Yeah.
No, we're good. We're good. So.
Yeah. So I propose that, and then I guess we should start heading out to this 100 diameter mark and start working on those calculations.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a cool thing. It's a team effort because Dr. Ilias, if you think it's a worthy prospect, you're going to be the one calculating the astrogation. So.
Yes.
Nobody in there, right? Oh, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's true. So you're because it's a task chain. So if you really kick ass on that astrogation check, that may take some of the heavy lifting off of the eventual J drive check.
All right. So do we want to try to do that, or just go normal and see what happens? Or I mean, I'm just concerned they're going to have like some pirate out there, some corsair out there waiting for us. You know. I mean, I don't know. Are there distinct jump points? It's not like jump gates in you're right. So.
No, there isn't. But the way of if there is piracy in the vastness of space here, it seems like there's sort of like a. It would be a shifting point. It wouldn't be a fixed point, but there's sort of like in obvious, easy places to drop out of jump at certain times.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, based on like the orbit. I'm sure you could calculate it based on the orbits and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Whatever calculations you would make to make for like an optimal, safe route, probably other people are assuming that's the same location. So.
Yeah.
Otherwise, piracy would be a fucking fool's errand. It's just like, you know.
Yeah, there's like kneeling
hang around in the vastness of space. God, I really hope someone comes here.
Yeah.
What do the rest of you guys think? Dr. Ilias, your name's on the deed for this thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm vehicles can be often easier, prepared easier than people. I'm wondering if it's a risk. Are we making this more complicated than it is in terms of? I think it's because we don't fully know all the forces arrayed against Tilitoral and us. Would they have some sort of ship lurking around?
From the,
I mean, would you?
What Tilitoral can tell you is that with the way that things have. He cannot speak to what's going to necessarily be there, but they're on the cusp of conflict between two major clans. So they're likely to have there's likely to be a significant show of force. in the event that he doesn't show up and there is honor that needs to be restored. There's a lot of folks who are being affected by this, seemingly singular action of just shame on his part. But partly that's because they think that he acted in a shameful manner. Once that information gets out that it is his shame, not the clan's shame, that is likely to take the temperature down from the other clans. But right now, you probably can expect that you're going to arrive and there's going to be significant naval presences from a couple of Aslan clans, as well as all their great clans, as well as their client clans. So does that affect your thinking on the prospect of this risky jump, Dr. Ilias, or?
I think he's happy to go with it if we feel it's, in the sense, while being risky, the safest, as opposed to having to face off against potentially better armed and more military vessels.
I think there are better options, but they're not open to us, I think is the problem. The perfect solution would have been to bait and switch, that we actually have 2 ships, and that we would have actually just sequestered our package on an alternative ship and actually blazoned away with the Rift Wanderer and allowed that to be destroyed, and gone another way. That's one thing we could do. The other thing that we could do is hitch a ride on another ship heading in to Tyok, and just go under the manifest of the sort of passenger manifest of that particular ship, or not even that, just stow away on it. But I don't know. I think that there is an honor side to this, where if he's going to be there, then he needs to be there. But I don't know. I think there is something about him just appearing there rather than, and I'm not sure that any of those options are available to us, just finding alternative ways of getting him there, but not as anyone would expect, which actually I think the Aslan could rather enjoy that irony. And if we haven't got those options to us, then I'm with Anchor. Actually, I think that's it's a risky maneuver, but I think it shows bravery, because it is risky. There will be a jump flash at whatever it turns out to be, 50 diameters or whatever it becomes. So we will announce ourselves in system. It will just be not quite where they expected us, and I think Anchor's probably hit on an option that's in our gift. It's not the one I would have probably thought of or chosen, but I think it's a good one. That's my only thoughts, Dr. Ilias. I'm not sure if you...
No, then I would say let's do it. You both have more experience about these sort of confrontations and situations.
I'm used to jumping in on an Imperial sort of battle cruiser, which has redundant systems and actually is configured to be able to do these things a little bit easier. But hey, we are what we are. I'm not there anymore. Yeah.
Well, we have a competent captain, pilot, and crew. I'm sure we can pull this off.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it then.
If you propose this plan to Tila Toro, he is absolutely on board.
Right. And can I just say now, I'm going to look at the camera. Sorry, James.
All right. Then the trip out to... Dr. Ilias, I believe you are dooming responsible for the sensors. Is that right?
I normally do the astrogation.
Oh, no, not for the actual Nevian, just for sensors on the ship. Is it you or is it Alonso? I thought Alonso did the...
I also have sensors.
Okay, so I think you were... Yeah,
but I think Alonso does as well.
Okay, why don't you give us the sensors check, please? I think Alonso usually does comms, doesn't he, as well? Great. So if you have been monitoring for any vessels leaving the surface or otherwise like moving in your direction or reorienting themselves in the orbit to be closer to you, no one seems to be doing any such thing. So you're able to break orbit and start your passage out to the jump point without any kind of consequence. Is there anything that you guys wish to do in the 3 days or so that'll take you to reach that jump point? I guess I should say I'm assuming you're not gonna both jump early and arrive close.
Let's just go all out. Yeah.
No? Okay.
No. Can we do that? Take the time thing
To calculate astrogation?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can always bump one up on the time. Let's take a look.
Yeah, makes it easier.
It's a good
We get
thought.
It's a great idea. Yeah. To work the spell,
like that.
Skill chain.
it's very important. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
through the software.
It will definitely be a definitive end to the adventure. And it'll also give a definitive answer to whether Graham keeps playing Dane or not.
And as Alestil 99 in chat has indicated, we have got a block of luck with us, and I'd say that's probably quite a good thing to spend it on.
Yeah,
if needed.
Definitely to set up the task chain. Okay, hold on, I was getting distracted here. Here we go. Repairs. We'll have to come to that shortly. I mean,
I think Dane will be doing mixed martial arts.
It's really only a matter of minutes. For it's D10 minutes. So I think if you bump it up to hours, or a D6 times 10 minutes, if you bump it up to hours, you'll get the difficulty.
And that gives us, so it's how many parsecs?
Currently, it is. Oh yeah, it is. I think 2 parsecs away to get to.
Right, so it's routine. So that's so we need like a.
Oh, will be easy. So it'll be 6 or higher right now. So that would drop it down to a 4 once again, right?
Yeah. So then we can get a higher bonus on the task chain if we take the time to astrogate.
So
make sure those calculations are correct.
Dr. Ilias, if you want to give us a astrogation check at your leisure.
Yeah, just take your time.
Take your time. we got a few days.
Is there a way of blowing on the dice digitally, or?
Here we go.
Come on.
Oh,
Nice!
Look at that!
Right? +7.
Holy smokes! So you've capped out. I think it's +3 when it caps out, isn't it?
Okay.
Let's see here.
Yeah, succeeded with effect 6 or more is +3.
It's task chain rather than effects.
Okay, so then to calculate this, calculating the jump is, let's see here. So it's easy as well.
No, we just did the calculation, I thought.
Right. No, but the actual jump check, the J drive check, modified by the task chain. So it's going to So you got +6 to the roll right now,
but it's gonna. We're making it more difficult. Oh, so it's a -4.
Well, no,
right?
technically it's a dice modifier. It doesn't affect the.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So right now you would have a +2, including that's assuming you're landing within the radius. So actually you have +2 right now. You need to roll a 4 or higher to arrive within the 100 diameter limit. You could have -2 against a 4 to arrive within the 10 limit.
Just emerge outside the starport.
Yeah. Wow. So really, it would just be a matter, you have ample luck to be able to do that. It really is just a matter of whether you're risking the snake eyes.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you want to do? Do you want
What
to
a way to go, baby. What a way to go.
What do you guys think?
How's that trifle, James? Hope it's going down well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll leave it to the owner, the owner of the ship right now.
Yeah.
I think as a player, I'm all for it. I'm not sure Dr. Elias has the same appetite for whether
Risk.
go big or go home.
I mean, to be honest,
I think that
in either case, like just thinking of it just practically from an outcome of the dice mechanics, Snake Eyes is really the only negative outcome from either of them because the difficulty is only a 4.
Yeah.
Even with a -8, with the incredible astrogation roll, with the prep ahead of time, or with his +3 from the J drive, Snake Eyes is the negative outcome from either case. So really,
Do it.
yeah.
Let's do it.
nice.
Do it.
All right, so here we go. Dr. Elias, if you would kindly give us a 2d6 roll, please. Oh! An 11! Oh my goodness! Holy smoke! So you're gonna arrive, I think, within a day's travel of the surface. Let's see here, because I was looking at.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Woo.
Yeah, that's like less than a day's travel at 1G. So that is good. Now, the only saving grace we may have from a making life more difficult perspective is the weekend jump. So, what apart your trip out to.
Yeah, we kind of don't know, right? We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We might be writing, getting ready our last will or whatever to be.
Yeah. Although that travels at the speed of ship as well too. So if you blow
I know.
up, when
So
you...
like, we get out. There's a flash. There's a signal, and maybe it makes it before we disintegrate.
I feel like there's a police song that may apply here. So then, what are you guys doing in the? We'll roll for events in the jump in a second here. But what is everyone's thought process as far as what you're going to do with your week?
I mean, I know Anchor is going to keep studying jump drive if it matters anyway, but that's what he does for his week. That's 8 weeks in of study. But he's also going to go over gunnery simulations.
Okay.
For sure, just in case. You know, we need to run through those gunners.
Which one do you think
Aslan, silhouettes.
Yeah.
And practice on
those awesome, like fucking claw-looking ships or scarab ships.
They're great.
Super cool.
Yeah, Varga and Aslan have really cool looking ships.
Agreed.
Humans, I don't know. They went to like what is that? What is those? I mean, I love those shows, but they all look like those, those 1970s anime ships.
Yeah. Well, I am really sorry for the future return of the Rent Investigators, but that bounty hunter ship out of the small craft handbook is so fucking cool. I want to introduce it back to the game. So
yeah, and that's where so like I think we're looking like what ship, like they really want to get the crew really fast somewhere. They met with like a mega corporation, like what ship would work? Oh, there's a luxury yacht. Yes. Yeah, so there's a fast corporate ship that they might be able to employ, so that'd be kind of neat. That's a great
source book. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, Dr. Ilias and Dane, what are you guys doing with your week?
Dr. Ilias will do two things. Seeing as Anchor is preparing for a potential space battle, and Dr. Ilias has never been in one, he will happily sit in and get some advice from Anchor as to what he can do to support if it comes to like sensors or something like that. So he'll familiarize himself with the sensor bangs and things he might do.
Yeah, electronic warfare simulation. Send him that.
Then the other half would probably be running Dane through a number of health checks and making sure he sleeps well and eats well and is ready for what might come.
Since Dr. Ilias has recently demonstrated a propensity for pharmacology, is there any thought given to combat-enhancing drugs?
He has certainly considered it. But from everything he's learned so far of Tilatoral's culture, he would certainly not suggest it to Tilatoral, and there might be ramification if it gets discovered, given their whole idea around honorable and dishonorable warfare. So maybe as he runs Dane through a health check, he would bring it up, so just sort of as a, muscle boosters, reflex enhancers.
I can't remember, in fiction, do the Jump Marines make use of any combat drugs?
Yeah. I think they will. They'd use combat drug. Yeah, amongst others, I'd have thought.
At the very least, endurance enhancing stuff, right? To long deployments and long actions.
Speed, carrying on the proud tradition of using methamphetamines while in combat.
Well, they like in Masters of the Air, they showed that the planner was just popping. Methamphetamine. Really.
Jokes aside, that is one of the first widespread uses of meth is a combat, fatigue combating drug. Dane, what are you doing during this week?
Training.
Okay.
I'm looking at what I need to do, and I'm not going to have the time to significantly improve in unarmed. I can't quite get to level 1. But I will certainly keep trying. I'll keep working on my program, I think.
As you guys are going through your actually, hold on. First off, let's roll. Okay, Jeff isn't here, so I think, let's see here, Graham, would you mindly give us a D6 roll?
Sure thing. Good old 4.
Fantastic. Okay. And would you give us a pair of Route 66 rolls too, please?
You can just roll 2d6.
Yeah, 2d6, and we'll take them at one and the other.
Sure. There you go.
Yeah.
So 42.
Okay, and then one more of those, please.
16.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. All right. So, first thing, as you guys are prepping, you had loaned out some stuff before when you left the world. Who is the one who is likely or most likely to be back in the weapons locker? The ship's, or at least the ship's locker where the weapons are stored. I don't think you're storing the monkey knives in there necessarily, but it's, from what I understand, it's the firearms that...
It could well be Dane, I'm guessing.
Okay. So then you are in there. Give us a D7 roll, please.
Okay. I can do that. Push of a button. It's number 1.
So the first day, perhaps this is where you're like, maybe when you got back and you got to planning that you forgot to put, I can't conceive your character forgetting or losing track of a gun, but perhaps it's someone else who did that, maybe Alonzo left his firearm unstowed or whatnot, and he got busy writing again, and
take it over. Yeah.
What you find when you go into the locker to place it in there, and you tell me if I've got this wrong, because he sort of has fallen in as a bit of the quartermaster here. In the same way that, like, you would know when something's out of place in a room you're in every day, you just see something is out of place here.
Yeah, definitely the ship's locker.
Okay. There is an additional weapon in here.
Oh, I was expecting one to be missing. There's an additional one.
No, there's an additional one in here, and I'm open to hearing what you think that is. It may have been something that someone else purchased and just didn't, make noise about, or it may be something that, I don't know. I don't know why you would lose track of it. Someone may have kept it on their person the whole time, but...
This is when the rest of the crew jumps out, goes like, "Happy birthday, Dane!"
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, guys.
Oh, nice.
You're right.
That's a good one.
No one likes it better than, surprising a guy afflicted with post-traumatic stress when he's putting guns away. What do you think, Dane? And everyone else in the crew can feel free to make suggestions as well if you've got things. Anything that you conceivably think might be in there is something in there. As to how it got in there, we can figure that out as well. But that is the second issue. Is there like a melee weapon you think that might have been there, or is there another pistol or rifle?
Well, let's say it's something off the wall, like a melee weapon, perhaps. Perhaps it's a sword or something like that. Something quite unusual, and perhaps it's particularly configured in a particular way. It's like an arming sword of some description with a intricate hilt.
Let's take a look at I'm just looking at the melee weapons in Central Supply catalog.
Yeah,
because I think there is. Ooh. I mean, there's that static blade. AP5, 3d6 damage. Uses melee.
What's that?
Wow.
What is that?
It's like a chainsaw.
No,
Right.
this is the static blade right there. It's a power sword, right? It's a
demon sword. Yeah, I get the feeling that the companion's a bit like, escalating Yu-Gi-Oh card decks over time. It's like you thought you had the best thing until you get the new book, and it's like, what? It does what?
As a childhood player of Rifts, I'd say they've got a long way to go to reach that escalating power level. I'm
wow.
Could be a monofilament axe if you want over the top.
Yeah.
That would do it.
So I
Static
think
blade sounds kind of cool, but
yeah, any of those, because I can tell you who I think might have slipped it in there is Ultima 1.
Ah. Right.
Other thing, if we want to surprise Jeff when he gets back, could be a side dagger or a side blade.
Wow, that sounds great.
But yeah, any of the things that we've talked about all sound fine to me.
One of those then. Yeah. Ultima 1. Still playing games.
Which, the static blade?
Yeah.
Done. Yeah. The blade is enhanced by a powerful generator that emits a localized static energy field, weakening the molecular bonds of the target. Battery-powered generator will operate for 30 minutes, 30, of combat or cutting.
Enough time. Wow.
Okay. So, then, that was one of the events. Second, before we get to the second one, why don't you guys tell us what the scene in the montage of travel that we would see as you guys are making this final jump into Tyok to conclude your delivery of this Borderland run?
I think it mean like a lot of nervousness, like I know you did the calculations. But you never know. Jump space is weird. People don't even know about it.
So we see Anchor going back to the.
Anchor just like he keeps talking, and he makes up this conspiracy about who created jump space, and is it the ancients? Is it
Love it.
Maybe the Aslan created jump space. I don't know.
Okay. So we see Anchor in bed, Lucy kind of sitting on his shoulder, the glow of his pad as he runs through the calculations once again to be sure that you're not going to dematerialize when you arrive back in real space.
That'd be a shame.
What about Dr. Ilias?
There'll be a scene of him going through the crew's health records. Just almost the same as with Anchor, just sort of distracting himself almost from the arrival and sort of the final stage. And then also a scene of him and maybe Alonso preparing a meal for the crew, maybe sort of a day before we emerge into actual space.
Yeah.
Maybe possibly a last supper for the gang.
That's wonderful. Every last bit of useful shit that's in the cupboard is getting used on this meal. And what about Dane? What will we see in the montage of his activities during that week? Hopefully it's not any copyrighted songs. Might lean to...
take that off. I think it's Eye of the Tiger, which I can say. Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, okay.
I think it's going to be.
Yeah. Nice. I didn't hear it coming through anyway. Just I thought I.
Oh, that's great. Good. Glad to hear it. Glad not to hear it.
So what do we see for Dane? Is he just more of the he tries a certain maneuver and then we see the Aslan correcting his grip and correcting his stance and then he does it better the second time?
Yeah. Every so often you just see a dew claw right against my neck.
Yeah, exactly. And then
slow motion,
a complete incongruent thing. We see you carrying logs through the snow. So let me come back to the ship. So what happens in the course of this? Our sort of montage would end maybe 2 days before you will be due to have the outcome of your trip. And you're training in the training area. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, you guys have no cargo on board, right? Apart from the now empty container?
Yeah.
So you're going around and there is... What we would have seen over the course of this stuff is every time you guys, slam down onto the mat, there's something sitting higher up in the rafters that gets a little closer to the edge and a little closer to the edge and a little closer to the edge. And as one of these happens, one of the last, bits of training, Dane, you happen to notice that when there's a bit of just a slight rumble, something seems to be falling and looks like it's about to strike Tila Toro. So I would ask, this is not like a trap or anything like that. This is just a mishap. What it might be it could be something falling from above. It could be a rack falling over. You know what probably is? That stupid bladder. Maybe that bladder is just about to fucking fall over and hit him.
Yeah. Is that an athletics test?
Yes, please. Do you have any specialties with that?
Dex.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I've got Dex. Is dexterity a specialty?
Yeah, each of the stats is. I got confused by that before.
I think my specialty is dexterity. That's what I've got noted.
Go right ahead.
Okay.
Just acting as quick as you can. Here we go.
Is that gone? No, it's not good.
Oh, it's only one. So if you want to spend 2 luck.
Yep, do it.
Okay. So this is at the end of a really long day of training and whatnot, and then you can see this thing beginning to fall down. You sprint forward and yank him out of the way. This thing falls down, seemingly unsecured. But thanks to your, careful actions, you yank him out of the way. And there is no ill effect.
Phew. That would have been a real shame.
Yeah.
What a way to end it.
Yeah. So, with you knocking into the ground, he looks over. I think that there's probably a moment of like, after all you guys have been through in this, like, I think whatever the Aslan equivalent of laughing is what he starts doing, because like just the sheer ridiculousness of this and the fact that you're the one who saved him.
Yeah. Jeez.
So he rises. He helps you up as well.
Thank you.
The random event you guys rolled for the second one, an accident among the crew.
Yeah, great.
So, but what I will tell you is, Dane, because of your training montage, 2 extra XP for unarmed.
Hey.
For Anchor, because of your training with your astrogation, checking your J Drive stuff, 2 extra XP for J Drive. And Dr. Ilias, for your studying,
5.
let me think here, what would it be? Would it be towards your medicine or towards... there's not like first aid or trauma medicine specialty, is there?
I think it's just medic.
2 XP towards medic.
Nice.
Okay. And without any other issues, you guys will be... There's no other complications on your trip. Is there anything else you wish to do before you arrive in system? Really in system at Tyok?
Yeah, really.
I don't know if we're coming towards a point we probably get ready. I would say even like it's nostalgic for Anchor, hopefully for Dane, but like a beat to quarters. Let's get ready for jumping out.
Nice. Okay.
Play some Imperial March music.
But not that Empire. We're thinking of...
not that Empire.
Well, actually, that Empire is pretty bad too, but...
Yeah.
All right, then. Where is everyone on board the ship when you arrive at Tyok?
Bridge, I think, for Dr. Ilias.
Bridge and the pilot ready to
Yeah,
maneuver with our fantastic maneuver drat.
Gunnery station.
Okay.
I think sensor station for Dr. Ilias.
So let's talk about Tyok a little bit. Tyok is the main world of a binary system containing 6 other terrestrial planets and 4 gas giants. So not only are you accounting for a full system's worth of things, there are 2 stars that you have navigated around in order to make this flashy appearance.
We need to like document this and publish it.
Yeah. Tyok is a major shipping hub and industrial center and is the destination for most trade entering the Aslan Hyrate from the Imperium or worlds of the Borderland. The system is heavily defended by warships of several major Aslan clans and often used as a staging point for Ihate operations. With a population in excess of 20 billion and a high-tech manufacturing base, Tyok is a major influence on local economy and a source of many goods. Its factories have a voracious appetite for raw materials, some of which comes from mining bodies elsewhere in the system. Super freighters filled with ore or other basic industrial materials go straight to the spaceports of the major manufacturing centers. General trade and commerce is done at the immense high port which orbits Tyok. So the establishing shot we would have of Tyok would be noticeably different, not only for the prevalence of the green on the planet as well, but the sheer presence of multiple orbiting facilities, a colossal high port that would even dwarf the world in terms of size, and the enormous amount of, on a normal given day, the high port and the other installations are full, relatively speaking, of traffic. It's even more so now, given the prevailing political circumstances here. We would see many, and of course, being the stellar GM I have loaded 0 pictures of any Aslan warships. So we'll have to use our imagination between now and next time. But there is a huge amount of Aslan warships that are going around. It's that, you know, the opening shot of Revenge of the Sith, you know, where we see like the ship go along the length of the Star Destroyer, open up, and there's that massive, impossibly deep war thing. They're not exchanging fire, but that's how many starships we would see in orbit around Tyok at this time, both military and otherwise servicing the huge population of the planet. It is there that we see sitting at some installation on the high port. You can picture almost stadium seating for flight control for this thing. There are thousands of people who are operating stations in there, and there is one poor Aslan operator who is sitting and monitoring traffic coming in and out of the system. And everyone is going in, and this person seems to be monitoring relatively, not immediately in orbit, but not far off from it. High orbit, I guess, you might say. And there is something that appears on his screen. Excuse me, on her screen. It's a tech operator, so it will be a woman. And she looks and leans in. And it's like, because surely this is wrong. No vessel could have jumped in this close in orbit. And we see one of a supervisor walking over and you know, says in Tyok, or not in Trok, what is it? Is there a problem? And she says, I think that there's been some error here. And she says, there's no error. What is? Oh, I think there's been some. Message them now. And there is a ping that's gone off. We see aboard the bridge of the Rift Wanderer. Why don't you tell us what the mood is like on the bridge, having survived this jump?
I probably make sure, you know,
yeah,
kiss the ship as the J drive. He's probably like sputtering in the back of the ship, you know.
Yeah.
I just unlaunched, got myself out of there, and then he'll give a cheer.
Nice. Yeah. Alonzo, I think, joins you on that for sure. What about Dane and Ilias?
I didn't say that adds to your legend, Dr. Ilias.
Our legend. This was definitely a team effort. Well done, everyone. It seems to have worked.
I think Dane is just thinking quietly, oh, it's great. I've got another week to live. That's good. It's great.
I think Tila Toro, given the sort of shift in mood you've seen from here too, when Anchor cheers, he also does the big kind of like Aslan roar. Like, yeah! Whatever the like you know, fist pump equivalent is among Aslan. I have 2 things I need to look up. I need to look up how to say fuck yeah in Aslan, and I need how to say second in a duel in Aslan. So I have my homework now.
Great.
Dr. Ilias, you seem to be at the comm station, and it seems as if Tyok Highport is trying to message you.
Let the others know. Oh, we got incoming, and then open the comms channel.
And you hear in a very accented, because they would know what your, you know, what your, or would it be? I'm trying to decide if it's an auto translate or
translator.
I think there is an auto translator, something like that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Universal translator. That's what it's called. Universal translator.
Yeah. So there is that sort of like automated, you know, universal translator process. Well, but it's also a Borderland thing. I'm trying to decide the like. She probably speaks it, you know, like so. The I'm spending way too much time trying to think of like a specific thing, and it's because there's a case we read in law school about French language flight control from Quebec, because they tried at one point to impose French language at all Quebec airports, and the rest of the world went, "Yeah, no, are you out of your fucking mind?" Like, the one place you fly into that suddenly you need to also understand French. So, yeah, she speaks in very, not like so accented you can't understand it, but in accented Galanglic. Rift Wanderer, have you suffered a jump drive malfunction, and if so, do you need assistance?
Well, I guess actually, I assume there's no alarms going off on our ship.
No, you're looking around at all the boards are nothing. There's no red going anywhere.
It's all green. It's all green.
Thank you for your concern. All systems green. We're good. Thank you.
You have emerged from jump quite close to the planet. Are you certain that you don't need assistance?
All our systems are showing as good. Yes, we're fine. We're just making our way to spaceport.
Would you? Let's see. Who would be at sensors? Anchor, would you give us a electronic sensor? No, Dane, you said you have it as well, right?
No, I've got computers.
Oh, okay. So, Anchor, would you give us electronic sensors, please? I realize, incidentally, I say the word sensors like I'm a Doctor Who villain, but I fucking love saying it that way. So,
Oh no, nothing. We got three. We
have 3 luck left.
And there we go. What you can tell, Anchor, is that in orbit around here, it does seem as if there are some ships that are moving in a, not an intercept course necessarily, but whatever the naval maneuver equivalent of, what's that over there, is. They're all sort of drifting, not all, but like several warships seem to be moving in your direction.
Not to them. I do want to say in our interaction, it's up to you, Dr. Ilias, but maybe say that we've suffered a misjump and our jump drive is shot, but everything else is green. So I don't think we did this on purpose just yet.
Will they be able to scan for
Well,
damage?
our jump drive is shot, right? I mean, isn't that?
I don't think we should tell them anything.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Do you know, I just think we just bluff it out.
Yeah.
We're fine, thanks. Everything's fine here. How are you?
There you go.
All right, so then they start going through the rigmarole of like, if you're satisfied with that, they start talking about where you need to go in orbit and whatever else. This is when you would want to contact the Iowoi low port.
Yeah. We're here.
So then, maybe we end our session with Tila Toro stepping forward and saying, contact my father. Tell them we will be inbound to the low port and transmit our findings.
Yep.
So,
I'd like to be wearing the clan motif.
remember, he's in
he's in
Ihate, so he would be wearing
Has
the
he
clan.
got? He would still have, but would he still have the clan?
He would, but when he steps foot on, the reason he can't talk is because he doesn't have standing in the clan. So
Right. Okay. It's not
what is
appropriate.
appropriate though is if he has some kind of like, if you did research into the news stories that you've read about Aaron Sear or whatnot, he'd have some logo for himself as well.
Yeah, okay.
So
all right, that's fine.
if
That's
you want to
great.
have his crest and like have everyone ready to, that it makes it
badges. We have badges.
yeah,
it's
sure.
not badges. Yeah.
You'd be doubly
Tell us.
clear that you are all part of his honor
Exactly.
guard. Love it.
No doubt.
Okay, and then that will leave with the transmission going out. That is where we will end our session.
Nice.
Good
job.
Date with Destiny next time.
Woo.
That is awesome. Okay, so then first off, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session 28 of our Traveler campaign, the Borderland Run. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There is also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where all of us are active, and we have a channel there dedicated to the Borderland Run campaign. In addition, there's a bunch of other great channels on there, like Finding a Group, what else? Finding a Group, GM discussion, channels for most of the other campaigns we have on the channel. There are channels for other streamers as well, including to Carl's channel, where he runs a bunch of things as well. And Graham very graciously ran a session of Dragonbane for us yesterday, which I was able to play in. So if you want to see someone play an insufferably smug elf, then you will be able to find it over there. While you are at either of the channels too, I'll just recommend, if you want to subscribe and not miss any of their future content, that's a great way to make sure you're seeing what other members of the Dungeon Musings roster are up to on their own channels. There was also a ton of other great stuff. A very friendly group, knowledgeable over there. You are more than welcome to join us at the Dungeon Musings Discord server. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games are the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have a great selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If they do not have something, including a bunch of stuff from Traveler, I filled part of my Traveler collection from that and then had to replace something that I accidentally destroyed. There is an extensive catalog, and if they do not have something in stock that you are looking for, you can put it on a want list, and they'll send you an email when it comes in. And then if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserNight, all caps, all one word. It's all listed in the description below, and you will save yourself 10% in your purchase. That will change at the end of June, so if you're listening to this after June 2024, come back to one of our more recent videos and you will find what the current discount code is then. They also have gift certificates. So if you are interested in picking up a gift for anyone in, particularly in North America, because the shipping is cheaper there, that makes a lovely little way to help your favorite gamer fill out their holes in their collection. I speak from experience from the very great generosity of our player rosters, who treated me to some gift certificates for my birthday recently. So that was very, very cool. And I got to fill some holes with some things I probably would not have paid for initially. So thank you very, very much to everybody for that. There's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages, which is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really incredible organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. All donations through that link go directly to the organization. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from the services, and is a small way of saying thank you to the donors who have donated $25 or more since the start of the year from 2024. We'll be starting at the end of July to open up voting on the Charity Initiatives channel of the Dungeon Musings Discord server for the charity sessions for the remainder of the year. We plan on doing some fun mashups, taking classic adventures and running them with games they were not designed to be played with. And we'll be having the donors vote on those parts, as well as the heroes will be playing in those sessions. And hopefully those will be a lot of fun to do some... I intend on offering some options that are really off the beaten path. So we hope to have some fun ways for the donors for us to say thank you to the donors for their generosity and make for some fun sessions. Speaking of fun sessions, a huge thank you as well to our stalwart heroes or travelers from today. So David, Carl, and Graham, thank you so much for playing today, guys. This was a great session and a great example, I think, of setting aside how much fun it is just to chat about plans and whatever else in this. I really love Traveler for that, I don't know how this works, but I'll bet you we can find an answer for it element of that. And there's so few games where you can do that, to be satisfied you're going to find an answer to an obscure question. Traveler, I agree, Carl, is the pedigree behind Traveler that allows for you to find a clear answer for that stuff. But yeah, a really great part of playing this game. Then we'll be back on the surface of Tyok in 2 weeks' time to see what comes when our, I'd say chickens, but it's our Aslan come home to roost. And until then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.